In this week's episode of NDVision.
1980s, 90s childhood. It was incredible. I just loved it.
So what year did you graduate then?
93.
So now if you want to know how old he was.
Yes,
you
there.
can,
Do
you
the
can go
math.
backtrack.
But I graduated, I was only 6 years old, so I'm actually quite young. I mean, people, festivals, corporations, schools will pay good money to have me carve pumpkins and have people watch.
Yeah.
It's a really kind of fascinating. Only in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you
Watch me
pumpkin?
carve.
Watch me carve a pumpkin. It's amazing. You have free time now, free reign to do whatever you like for the last few minutes of class. So I got out, my cheap notebook. I didn't have sketchbooks then, and I started to draw. And I knew, even at that age, I knew I had talent and I was passionate about it. And he came by and saw what I was doing, paused, and I thought a compliment was coming. And he said, put that away and find something constructive to do.
Hello and welcome to this episode of NDVision. I'm joined here today by EricJones. Hi, Eric. How's it going?
Great. How you doing today?
And Eric, what is it? What would you say your title is?
I would say I'm the world's biggest 9-year-old.
The world's biggest 9-year-old.
Yes.
To elaborate on that a little bit, you're an artist. Mm-hmm. And you create art from pumpkins and sand and pen and paper and marker and paper and just about anything else that I'm missing?
Well, I've done butter, cheese, ice, you name it. Snow is probably one of the biggest, but yeah, if I can create art with it, I'm going to do it. And typically I like working with materials that are organic and ephemeral, stuff that melts, rots, washes away. Most of my art's temporary, which is the way I prefer it.
Yeah, I mean, the pumpkins they can go back into the earth. The snow obviously melts.
Right. And I do it, the biggest reason I enjoy that type of work is, first of all, as an artist, your work is never finished, only abandoned. So if I see a permanent piece of mine, I'm never happy with it. I always want to adjust it. Mm-hmm. I like doing art that goes away because I'm more interested in the process than the product. So, and also, when you're dealing with philanthropy, anytime there's a philanthropic effort to your work, there's an urgency to see it if it's temporary.
Yeah.
If I carve something with a chainsaw and wood, it's always there. Not a big deal. You can see it anytime. If I make it out of snow, people will line up by the thousands to come see it because it's gone in a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy to tie charity to that.
Similar idea to when artists pass away. They only have a limited number of pieces then, and everybody grabs them up.
That's why your value goes up when you're dead. It's unfortunate as an artist. Yeah, I won't make any money till I'm dead.
Someone has just a pumpkin in like this ice chest. Just
Right. Preserve it in water. The only way you can preserve a pumpkin is to submerge it in water.
Yeah. Because
pumpkin's 90% water. So everyone's like, well, what can you put on it to preserve it? You can't. It's a vegetable. It's going to go away. So you can submerge it in water and it'll last a little while, but eventually it's just going to rot.
Just going to rot.
Yeah.
I do want to get into, because obviously a lot of people know that you've been in on the Food Network and on Food Wars and you do a lot of stuff with the Buffalo Bills and all around our region, but you're local. Mm-hmm. You're from this area. And first I want to just kind of get into, tell me your beginnings, where you came from, then kind of what inspired you to, what inspires a person to want to carve pumpkins for a living?
Yeah, it's interesting. So the reason I opened with I'm the world's biggest 9-year-old is everything I do are the things that you love to do when you're 9. Mm-hmm. And I turned it into a profession. And that I was probably 3-4 years old. I started to notice that I had not just a love for anything art related. I was also good at it. And once I got into school, I could tell that my peers weren't as good as me. I didn't realize that everybody couldn't do what I could do.
Right.
So I was very comfortable drawing people and illustrating and sculpting as a young kid. And it was always easier for me than most people. And when I was in 6th grade, something very interesting happened to me. I had a science teacher, and I'm currently writing a book about this. It's taken me a while, but I had a science teacher that ended class early and middle school, and he said to me, he said to the whole class, get your notebooks out or study or do whatever. You can do whatever you want. You have free time now, free reign to do whatever you like for the last few minutes of class. So I got out, my cheap notebook. I didn't have sketchbooks then, and I started to draw. And I knew, even at that age, I knew I had talent and I was passionate about it. And he came by and saw what I was doing, paused, and I thought a compliment was coming. And he said, put that away and find something constructive to do. And that's going to be the name of my book.
Yeah.
Find something constructive to do. And what I'm going to do in this is I'm going to talk a lot about the relevance of the arts in grade school and in college and even in the world now. So like the whole STEM program now is considered STEAM because people like me who are making a career in the arts, and it is relevant now more so than ever. We're very innovative as a nation now, and there's a lot of artists making a living. So it is relevant, even though it's not taught as much as it should be. So I used that as fuel through my high school years. First, it crushed me because a middle schooler, your teachers are gods to you, right? And
my teachers were definitely not gods. They said the same thing, basically. You're never going to amount to anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think they look at artists as, oh, that's fun. Now, what are you going to do for a living? I think I still have people in my family that think that about me. It's kind of comical, but I use that as motivation. And I thought, one day I'm gonna make it as an artist and prove to this guy.
Yeah.
So it ended up being a great thing. And now I'm a full-time artist, and I dabble in all different sorts of things. And recently, in the last 5 years or so, I've gotten some national notoriety for it. So yeah, I've definitely turned it into a good occupation and hired a lot of people. And it's just been, it's been a great journey.
What school did you go to?
I went to Richburg School before
you're from
the merge.
Bolivar?
No. Not Bolivar, Richburg.
No, I know, but you lived in Richburg, or you lived in Richburg?
I lived in Richburg, and I went to Richburg School before the merge. So now it's Bolivar Richburg. But
Bolivar used to be the Bulldogs. What was Richburg?
Bearcats.
Bearcats.
Yeah, Bearcats forever, baby. Bearcats. I don't even know what a Bearcat is, but we were awesome.
I'm going to Google Bearcat.
Yeah, good. I don't know. I think it's a fictitious medieval. I don't know. But we were cool. And yeah, I was the second to the last graduating class of Richburg before they merged with Bolivar. Very small school, but a wonderful, wonderful place.
No, it's like a weasel-looking bear, I guess.
Oh, in other words,
it's
a
real.
Wolverine?
Yeah.
The Bolivar Richburg Wolverines, basically. Yeah, so there you go.
But there is something called a bearcat.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's actually known as the Binturong.
Oh, well, people in Richburg can't pronounce that. That's why they called it a bearcat.
It's also known as a bearcat.
Yeah.
So
I love the town of Richburg, though. No, I'm not throwing shade. The wonderful town, wonderful little community. I grew up I had a perfect little 1980s, 90s childhood. It was incredible. I just loved it.
So what year did you graduate then?
93.
So now if you want to know how old he was.
Yes,
you
there.
can,
Do
you
the
can
math.
go backtrack.
But I graduated, I was only 6 years old, so I'm actually quite young. I'm in my mid-30s.
And did the merger happen before you graduated? Or
Right after. 95, I believe the merger took place. It was finalized in 95, so I was one of the last classes,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you graduated from Richburg, grew up in Allegheny County.
Yep.
Did you go to college?
Yeah. So I did my first 2 years at JCC, which was incredible. I speak highly of Jamestown Community College. People, sometimes consider your local community colleges as an alternative to what you really wanted to do. But I honestly learned as much or more in my 2 years of art school at JCC that I did at Alfred University. I went on to Alfred U.
Yeah.
Great school, great people. But at the time, JCC had an incredible art program. And now in the Jamestown campus, they do again. But I learned a ton there, a ton that I still apply today. So yeah, went to everything local, kept everything local. And I'm trying to stay local.
Yeah.
Trying to keep, even though I've gotten bigger and more demand around the country for my work, I try to do as much local work as I can because I don't want to be that guy that grows up and gets out of the area, and outgrows it. These are my people. I would rather, if I can find work here, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went to Alfred U, started JCC. What did you do at Alfred U? Isn't that a ceramics?
Oh, no, they had a great fine arts program. Yeah.
Really?
They just were just starting digital illustration and graphic design in the early 90s. So I went there from 95 to 97, studied a lot of typographic design, digital design, vector, raster, Photoshop, Illustrator. It was just coming to light then. So I went from there, worked at Daltile in Olean, designing mosaic murals. I did that for exactly 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Basically, I'm looking at these stained glass windows thinking that's kind of what I did there. Out of natural stone and mosaics. That was a fun job. I didn't make any money at all, but it was a really, really fun job. And I learned incredible things. And my uncle actually, he's here in Wellsville or Allentown, Marvin Butts, he's an amazing guy, incredible artist, taught me everything I know. And he kind of took me
That's how
under
you're
his
related to Dave Manzo.
Yeah.
Because of the butts.
Yeah, that's his son-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dave's my cousin-in-law.
Huh.
Right.
All right.
Another talented guy in your industry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very talented.
Yeah.
He's opening up a disc golf course.
Yes.
Which I'm really excited about,
It's
actually.
very Dave Manzo.
I'm glad
disc
that he
golf,
pulled through on this one. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
good.
he's doing it.
He's doing it. He's doing it.
So you're working at the tile shop. When did you start working for yourself, I guess?
Yeah, so about 2005, from early on, like 97, I started doing caricatures at public events.
Now, what's a caricature?
A caricature is a comical depiction or exaggeration of a person, place, or thing. So
Could you do one of me? This
you
isn't pre-planned.
You are a natural caricature, but I could probably try that.
I want you to keep going, but it just so happens.
All right.
That I have
what a coincidence.
board here.
What a coincidence. This is going to cost you $1,200. I hope you understand that. So.
I've put it on my tab.
You could at least got me a board that wasn't dented and scratched.
Well, I think the theater group maybe borrowed some of my boards.
Oh, is that right? So the camera's here, so I've got to turn, right?
Well, you don't have to turn. You can just do it, and then we'll do a surprise reveal.
Oh, is that right? We're gonna all right.
We'll do a
So
surprise.
I'm gonna draw a caricature of you.
Yeah, but you have to tell your story while you're drawing it. So how you started off doing characters.
This is, the ergonomics of this is a little strange.
Do you want to cut it in half?
No, we're good. We're good. I'm just gonna bring this up just a little bit. Okay, we're good. We can make this work.
Sorry for everyone who has eardrums blown right now.
Yeah, sorry about that. My bad. All right, so let's start. So I started doing caricatures. There's a couple hairs on your chin. I got to make sure I get those, all 7 of them. So I started doing caricatures live, and then I hooked up with a couple different agencies, and they booked me, for events, and I started doing events all over the Northeast, and then eventually around the country, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point where I was being represented by a couple different entertainment agencies, and it was taking off, and then I started about 2005. I hooked up with a company in the Northwest called Give a Share, and it's an LLC, a gift-giving company, and we started an online business doing caricatures, and it almost instantly became the largest retail caricature site on the web, and it's still one of the biggest today. But we're going on 20 years, which in the internet retail world is forever. That's impressive to be around that long. So. But that's slowed down a lot. AI has put a big dent in it. Give me a little smile. See, look at that. Draw you knocking that thing over.
I'm gonna actually frame this and put it in I'll show you my little.
Well, you
art.
better see it first because
I'm gonna put it in my little art area. I'll show you when we're done.
Well, I'm drawing you like one of my French girls, so make sure you get this.
You brought up something pretty interesting here. How has AI affected kind of what you're doing for art? I mean, it's affected. I go to a lot of anime festivals.
Yes.
And they actually have like an artist alley. They're like, no AI. Please don't use AI. Exactly. They have like an AI ban.
Yeah, let's tell the whole country, please don't use AI because, there's AI is great for some things, but honestly, the fads come and go. So, but the AI is not a fad. So, for example, in the malls, there used to be those little caricature booths you could sit in, and it would digitally draw, and they were, but the need for real art was always there. So I knew that wasn't a threat. Those types of things. AI is different. Yeah. So basically my website is someone's retiring from their job. You go to my website and say, hey, I want a caricature of John Anderson, right? Rock climbing, with a puppy on his back, with a pencil behind his ear. And I would draw that.
In real life, that would be great.
Yeah, that would be. I'd be impressed. In fact, I'm going to draw that for the next podcast. But now, and I would illustrate that for you, and you'd buy it and frame it and all that. Now you just type that into your app, and it makes it for you. So that has cannibalized it. There's some people that still love, the work of a real artist, and I'm not sure if we'll ever rebound to the point where we were, which is why the sculpting is now so relevant for me. I travel a lot and sculpt.
Right.
So that's kind of become my latest thing. And then of course, the television appearances always help with that. It forces you into doing full-time sculpture.
There's pumpkins happening right now.
Isn't that wonderful?
I see Egypt.
Yeah.
Is this your team?
No, that's not my team.
That's not your
my
team?
team's wearing a beige apron. Okay. Just look for the argument happening.
So we have the first episode of Halloween Wars in the background here, and we're going to get into that more.
Sure.
So how did it go from caricatures into doing sand art and sculpting and everything like that.
Yeah, so I got into pumpkin carving, and one of the reasons I started carving pumpkins is, I'm going to draw you with some chest hair here, by the way, make you feel a little more manly. I got into carving pumpkins just to try to hone my 2D skills, and I kind of fell in love with sculpting.
Your 2D
my
skills?
2D skills, my 2-dimension drawing, and I kind of fell in love with it. And my pumpkins were good, and they were starting to get some attention on social media. So somebody sent it. I don't even know who showed it to the Food Network. They asked me to audition for Halloween Wars.
And this is still why you're living. Do you live in Richburg now, or
No, I live in a little town called West Clarksville. Yeah.
Oh, even smaller than Richburg.
It's smaller than Richburg. It's
Yeah.
between Cuba and Portville. I am the Josh Allen of West Clarksville, though. Let me just put that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the best pumpkin carver in West Clarksville.
I'm the best there ever was. I piss excellence.
I piss excellence. I wake up every morning. So this is looking pretty good. Let me get the mic in there without it looking too phallic. So, got to be careful drawing microphones. I'm just saying. So, let me fix that. Okay, we're good. So anyway, what were we talking about? Remind me again. Sometimes when I'm drawing, I lose.
We were talking about how you started just doing your pumpkin carvings and posting them on social media.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I auditioned for the show, and I was a little overwhelmed because I got selected.
What year was this?
This had been 2019.
Okay.
Was my first filming, and it aired 2020. And I joined my teammates on Halloween Wars. I was terrified. You know, I remember the first day we're in the hotel, and you're with all these other carvers, the best pumpkin carvers in the world.
Yeah.
And I was a nobody. I'm much better now. And I'm sitting there with one of the world-renowned carvers, and he says to me, "Where's your studio?" And I tell him, and he says, "I've never heard of you." I said, "Well, I'm not really a pumpkin carver. I'm a caricature artist." He said, "Well, what are you doing here? This is the biggest stage for pumpkin carvers in the world."
Yeah.
And it scared the crud out of me. And then I beat him on the show, and I ended up going to the finals, and we lost by a vote. But it was a wonderful experience.
What is this? Is this from the first season?
Yep, that's me in the first season. That's that snake display you see right there. The snake head fell off during judging. Made great TV. They loved it. Was not planned. Let me just put your logo on here. It's MD?
I'm gonna turn it for you.
Yeah, will you?
My buddy made that for me. 3D printed it.
That's 3D printed.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Nice. Love it. We're almost done here.
Dave Volk, no worries. So you're on the
ready
first.
for the reveal?
Do you want to do the reveal? Do you want?
We can.
When you
This
turn
is
it, set it
a quick one.
right. Set it right in here.
Set it right here and face the camera.
Face the camera. Yeah.
There we are. See, look at that.
Hold on, I can't even see it.
Look at that.
Why do I look like Robin Williams? I'm not even upset about that.
Robin Williams. If you were Robin Williams, your nose would be down past your nose, or back past your mouth. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, there you go.
Neutral density.
$1,200. You get. I got to sign that.
You do. You definitely have to
that
sign
way,
it.
when I'm dead, it's worth something.
Do you have any? Do you know when you're gonna die? Just so I know when I can start.
I'm not sure. Depends on how this podcast goes.
I did give you a.
I drew all of your mustache hairs too, all 6 of those.
Yeah.
And your chin hair.
I'm just gonna hold this up again, just so people can see it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
You got it.
I think this podcast is over. That's actually the only reason I wanted you on. I just wanted a free.
You just wanted a free caricature.
So you're on the first season of it's Halloween Wars, right?
Halloween Wars, right?
And then what was that like going in there and just being like, I'm a small town person going into, like you were saying,
Yeah.
you know, you're on the biggest stage now in the world. Like, what's that feeling like?
It was terrifying. And John, my promoter, laughs about it because he's, you know, here they hired this artist from New York to go out to Hollywood and film, and I get out there and I think they thought I was supposed to be working one of the cameras. You know, I've got a flannel shirt on and a MAGA hat, and it didn't fit in very well out there. And but I was one of the carvers, and I did really well on the show. I was terrified the whole time. It was scary, but when I left, I realized it was one of the most exciting. It was the most exciting moment of my whole career as an artist. So I couldn't wait to try it again.
Yeah.
And then a year later, I was asked to audition for the show Outrageous Pumpkins, which is no teammates, pure pumpkin carvers. They select 7 of the top pumpkin carvers in the country, and you compete. It's the television show Sunday nights right after Halloween Wars. Mm-hmm. And that was season 3, and I won that season.
Ah.
Yeah, so that kind of put me up on that level with some of the best carvers. And so this year I decided to give it another try. and they auditioned me to film Halloween Wars All-Stars, which is airing right now, Sunday nights, Food Network, 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So the first episode was this past Sunday. I was on Road to Halloween Wars 8 to 9, and then my episode played 10 to 11. But from now on, it's 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night. You'll see me on.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's kind of you're essentially a TV personality now. And then what came of that? So your first season, is that when the phone calls started pouring in, like, we want you to come do this, what else can you do? Or
yeah, I never really thought of pumpkin carving as a career until I did it on television. And then I started to realize, okay, in the fall when it's pumpkin season, people, festivals, corporations, schools will pay good money to have me carve pumpkins and have people watch.
Yeah.
It's a really kind of fascinating. Only in America, right? Mm-hmm. Can you
watch me carve?
Watch me carve a pumpkin. It's amazing. Just stand behind me and watch. I mean, I did an event in Erie last night, Erie, Pennsylvania corporation, and there were hundreds of people watching.
Really?
And I'm just sitting there carving a pumpkin. I'm thinking, I have the greatest life.
And since you've done TV, it's probably less nerve-wracking because millions of people are watching you do it. You're just doing it live.
It's actually gone in reverse. So ever since television, now I carve better, I carve faster, and I enjoy it more when I have a bigger crowd. The more pressure, the better I do.
Yeah.
And I've noticed when I go on television and perform, and those, by the way, are real time elements. Everybody thinks that it's staged or it's not. When they say you have 5 hours to carve this, you have 5 hours to carve this. That's real time.
And you have to drop everything?
Everything. It's right now. And what's interesting about it is they will pull you aside and ask you questions and do on-the-fly interviews and all that stuff. So in the middle of being all creative, you're also communicating with your teammates. You're talking to producers. You're talking to camera crew. You're talking to directors. It's exhilarating. It's insane, but I love it.
So a show like Chopped, they just pull you away. Is it similar?
Yeah, they call it an on-the-fly interview, and because they want to catch you in the height of an emotion. So if you're arguing with somebody, they'll pull you aside right then and say, "How you feeling about this?"
I was just going to ask, do they look for people who are visibly upset about something or happy or
you're surrounded by producers, cameras. There's always a couple of cameras in your face all the time, and a team producer, and then multiple producers, and they're watching and listening to everything you do and say, and they're looking for dialogue. They're looking for narrative.
Yeah.
They're trying to create a narrative, and that happens in post-production when they write the stories. So, but it's really fascinating, and they're very good at it. Turn Card Content does Outrageous Pumpkins and Super Delicious produces Halloween Wars, and then they sell those to the Food Network. So it's a fantastic experience, and the Food Network executives are in on it as well. They're watching and they know what's happening. So it's just great. It's a wonderful experience.
A lot of things people don't realize about TV is it's actually not the network. A lot of the times producing something, it's a production company, and then they're selling it to the network. So like Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations and other shows, that was 0.0 Productions, and they sold it to Travel Channel.
Most of those are. In fact, I think all of the reality television shows are separate independent production companies selling them to networks.
So kids, if you want to start your own show, just do it. Then try to sell it.
Just hire me. Make sure you hire me, though.
Yeah. You should do a local challenge, and you can be the judge. You can be the host of it.
I get asked to do a lot of pumpkin judging, like different colleges and companies they'll have company-wide pumpkin contests, and they want me to judge. The problem is pumpkin season is so short. It's 6 weeks. Yeah. It's mid-September to Halloween. It's 6 weeks, and I am jam-packed. I will work 80 hours a week, 90 hours a week for 6 weeks straight. Mm-hmm. And I just can't fit in everything. I mean, I turn away far more opportunities than I take. It's just such a short window, unfortunately. So. And
how do you weed through what you choose to do and what you don't choose to do?
It's a combination of two things. One is money. Yeah. That's a big one, whoever wants to pay. But I'm also trying to keep as many local events. So I get asked, companies all over the country to come and do festivals and events and corporate events, Colorado. I've got several out west that requested me this year. But if I can make a little less and stay local, I would rather stay local. I'm trying to not get outside of my region.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have to do a lot of work in Buffalo, Rochester, Pittsburgh, because
I'd still call that your region, though. It's Western New York.
because I can't make a living in Olean and Wellsville.
Right.
Let's be honest. But I'm trying to stay as local as I can. So if I have an option, to do something local, and I also book a lot of schools. I do a lot of assemblies.
We do the summer program in Andover and various other things.
Oh, Andover's fantastic.
Yeah.
Andover's fantastic. What a fantastic school district. I really believe that they hire me every summer, and we do pumpkin shows, and I teach the kids caricature drawing. It's wonderful. I love that they utilize local talent.
I didn't pay him to say that, by the way.
Andover, keep it up. Nice work. Other school districts around the area could learn from you. But Cuba Rushford's another great one. They hired me they got a grant to have me come and sculpt with the kids. I'm taking the kids to Buffalo, Canal Side. We're going to do a big Halloween sculpture. I'm taking the kids to the Bills Stadium to do snow this winter.
No way.
Oh, yeah. They're fantastic. I'm working great with Cuba Rushford. So I love these school districts that are utilizing local talent, getting the kids involved. And I've had some people comment, because when you get a certain number of followers, you always have those
there's always going to be
nasty
some
comments,
mean birds.
I've had to tell people, say, listen, when these kids help me with a sculpture, they're learning physics, science, math. They're calculating volume. They're getting PE. It's team collaboration. They are learning so much more than art.
They're learning to work with their hands, which is massive.
And they're learning to work with each other. They develop their own hierarchy.
Yep.
They communicate well with each other. Everybody accepts certain roles. Some kids like to shovel. Some like to stomp sand. Some like to tell people what to do. Mm-hmm. It's amazing watching these kids fall into their natural place, and they learn a ton. It's really brilliant. So love that relationship I have with some of the local schools.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest thing outside of obviously the Food Network stuff? Mm-hmm. What do you think is the biggest project that you've done? And I don't mean size. I just mean what's the most prolific outside of Food Network?
There's two that really have kind of solidified my spot in this world. So the Guinness World Record. I have the Guinness World Record for the largest pumpkin in history. If you Google largest pumpkin carving in world history, Guinness World Record, you'll see EricJones. The pumpkin grown by Travis Geiger, a friend of mine from Minneapolis. I had to buy the pumpkin for a lot of money.
How much did it cost?
$10,000.
For
a pumpkin, yeah. And we raised money for ironwillmovie.com, veterans battling PTSD. 2,749 pounds. That was a big one.
Was it in 2022?
It's in the 2025 book. So if
you
go to
Walmart, it's brand new.
If you go to I broke it last fall. If you go to Walmart right now and buy a Guinness World Record, turn to page 101, you'll see me in there with a pumpkin.
2025.
Yeah. You can just Google my name with it, and it'll pop up too. So
Sculptor Jones.
There it is. That's a big one. But I would say my most viewed. This got millions of views and shares on Facebook, was the Josh Allen, Stefan Diggs snow sculpture at the Cuba Block Barn. I did that 2 winters ago, and that blew up viral. It was all over the country, got millions of views and shares on Facebook. Tens of thousands of people came from all over Western New York to see it and to travel down and get their selfie with it. It was really amazing.
Pumpkinville.com.
Pumpkinville, yeah. I'm there all season 2 doing live
carving. Are you there all season?
Live carving shows and classes. You can sign up for classes, learn how to carve a 3D pumpkin with me. It's fun.
Oh, here it is. Here we go. This is it?
That's it. That's the world record.
World record pumpkin. And it's on the Wellsville Sun.
You got it.
Look at that.
You got it. 2749 was the weight.
Jeez.
21 foot, 1 inch circumference. It was a big one.
Who's that standing next to you?
Travis Geiger. That's the grower.
Okay.
He's the farmer that grew the pumpkin. Minneapolis.
It sucks that you had to buy it from him still.
Not for him. I'll tell you, he was selling the seeds for over $150 a piece, each seed.
From that pumpkin?
From that pumpkin, yeah. He made 6 figures on one pumpkin.
Wow.
Yeah, he made a lot of money. It's a whole world. People don't realize these Atlantic giants. It's a whole world. But 20 years ago, the world record was like 1,000 pounds. Now they're 2,700, and in another 20 years they'll be 5,000 pounds. The genetics, they keep, crossing the genetics with other giants, and it's amazing how the science behind growing these pumpkins is incredible.
It's like horse breeding.
It's
it sounds
incredible.
like
It's incredible.
like,
A
hey,
lot
these
like
are
that.
these seeds from this pumpkin.
Exactly.
This pumpkin was
Yes.
the Guinness Book of World Records. You want to buy these seeds?
And they're always artificially inseminated.
Really?
Oh yeah, they can't let a bee do it because it might take pollen from an inferior pumpkin. So they're actually pollinated manually by other giant
You
pumpkins.
can do that?
Oh, absolutely. It's a whole world.
Wow.
It's a whole world. It's fascinating.
I did learn not just pumpkin. You also do sand sculpture. So I
snow.
learned that when I was filming in Corning at the Corning Museum of Glass, that like there's like a sand mafia, and there's
it's
there's-
crazy.
for glass. I don't know
yeah,
about
yeah.
for regular, but
Well, there is for sculpting too, sand sculpting as well.
really,
Oh, yeah,
so
it's-
there's a minute amount of sand that they can make for Gorilla Glass. Like there has to be this specialized sand, and there's literally sand wars. They were explaining that like because they're so limited that
No
there's
kidding.
only like 2 people. That
I'm
produce
surprised
it.
they're not manufacturing a synthetic sand for that. Who knows?
I don't know.
That's interesting.
But you say there's similar things
Oh
happening
yeah,
with the sculpting
sand sculpting is another whole world. And I'm just getting into that. I've only been sculpting sand professionally for a couple years.
Okay.
It's
You just did Andover's Bicentennial?
yeah, I did. I did a lot of the local. I probably did 20, 25 sand sculptures this summer.
There's a lot of birthdays for towns this
Incredible.
year.
And the people are using it, for corporate events and festivals, and
Yeah.
it's taking off. That's getting bigger and bigger every year. And the only reason I got into sand is because when the pumpkin season ended, everybody asked me to do what could I make now. I got into snow, and
Yeah.
that took off. And then the snow melted, and like, well, now what can you carve? I don't know. So I figured out sand. I studied a lot of sand sculpting, a lot of mishaps, a lot of mistakes. Made things collapse, did things wrong. Had a live stream, 9,000 people watching a live stream. Had a monster collapse. That was bad.
What does that feel like when that happens?
It was humiliating. But I didn't know enough about sand. I shouldn't have booked that event so early without learning more about working with. You have to work with sand it always has to be like a pyramid shape.
Okay.
Sand is so heavy it can't hold its own weight.
I was
It has
actually
to distribute its weight. Yeah.
I was going to bring that up because when you're doing the one in Andover, I stopped down and you're like, yeah, this is like 9,000 pounds of sand. I don't remember what exactly.
Yeah,
what
it's
was
about
it?
what it was. Yeah, about
It was
9,000
pounds.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
not very big.
smaller than this table.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, it's
Like-
a little shorter than this table and a little taller, but sand's very, very heavy. I've done them up to 30,000 pounds of sand. So,
And how much does something like that? How much is sand? Like 10,000 pounds of sand.
oh, it's cheap.
Is it?
Sand's like $30 a ton.
No way.
For the type of sand that I get, it's a river silt, so it's not a mason sand. It's got a lot of clay and silt in it. The dirtier the sand, the better it sticks together.
Wow.
And you don't want it tumbled. You want those to have rough edges. So I've learned all this in the past year mostly. So I was sculpting and doing events too big for me before I knew what I was doing. So I had a big collapse live. And when it collapsed, it was at Genesee College, and they were live streaming it to everybody. And they said to me, all right, what do we do now? And I said, I'm going to go home and have a glass of whiskey is what I'm going to do.
Oh, no.
You can't fix it. You have to
Yeah.
start over.
Yeah.
When you have a sand sculpture collapse.
How far into it were you?
I was finishing it.
Oh,
I was finishing. I had the whole top of the sculpture finished and painted, and I'm removing the bottom forms, and it collapsed.
What is? I gotta look up EricJones Geneseo. I just want to see did you refinish it?
I refinished it, but I did a different design. I did more of a graduation theme. It was a Earth Day sculpture is what collapsed on me, and the whole Earth split in half. It was kind of interesting, a little ironic,
It's fitting for
It is
for
fitting.
the day
It is
and age
fitting
today.
for Earth Day. Yeah.
Earth. Oh wow, there's a lot of. I got Celino here. A lot of Instagram stuff.
That's my sponsor.
Celino Mart.
Celino
it's not
Plumbing out of Buffalo is a corporate sponsor of mine.
Okay, Celino Plumbing.
Celino Plumbing is a relative of Celino Law.
Oh really?
Yeah, yeah.
What is
Brother,
it?
actually.
888-8888.
Yeah, that's the law.
Yeah.
This is 68 flush. That's Celino Plumbing.
68 flush.
Call 68 flush for all your plumbing needs.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. August 9th.
What's that one?
This is this paywall. That's annoying. It's Josh Allen.
Oh yeah. Is that the one in Belmont?
I don't know where it is. This paywall won't go away. That's annoying, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
What do we got going on? Are you up yet?
I don't know. No, I think we're judged a little bit later on this one.
Okay. This was in Amity Days in Belmont.
Yeah, Yeah.
10,000 pounds of sand.
10,000 pound Josh Allen. That's a big Josh Allen.
I would show you if only in Times Herald didn't have a paywall on
Thank
this
you,
story.
OTH.
Here we go. We got it.
There it is. Actually, I did that about 6 weeks ago. Still standing. The head fell off.
The
just a
Andover
couple
one's
days
still
ago.
standing
Yeah,
and
that's
like
incredible.
pristine. It's
Oh, that's incredible.
yeah. I'll send you a picture.
So I've
Go
had
back.
them last 24 hours in a rainstorm, and then I've had them last a year. Just depends on how they hold together and how they're designed.
That's really cool. Are you
it's
doing
fun.
anything for Ridgewalk?
Ridge Walk, no.
Oh, I'm gonna.
I do very little in Wellsville, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, let's get on them about that.
Okay.
I don't do much here. I don't know.
Bruce Chamber. Get a hold of. We're
why-
doing a mural on the wall of
Yeah.
Natalia, which looks really cool.
Yeah, why am I not doing more work here? I don't understand. Why do I have to go to Buffalo when I could be in
You should
Wellsville?
do a snow sculpture, definitely like on the library lawn. Maybe I'll contact Nick Gunning for that. Nick,
Yeah,
hi Eric.
that's right. That's right. Let's do this.
Yeah, $20,000. What percentage do I get?
Yeah,
if you get
20%. You get 20%.
$20,000 billion.
Yes.
To hire.
Retire early.
Yeah, we'll both retire.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Even if you weren't getting paid, though, do you think you'd still be doing it just for fun?
I would be. I wouldn't be as busy as I am, and I wouldn't be doing some of the scale that
Yeah.
I'm doing. I love what I do. I mean, it gets overwhelming because I'm so busy, and it's hard for me to say no when it's a local request.
Yeah.
Even if they don't have the funds, and even if I don't have the time, I try to fit in the schools. I try to fit in local businesses and commerce. But it's such an amazing job. I mean, other than being a professional bass fisherman, I can't imagine anything better than this.
You're a fisherman?
Oh my goodness.
Did
I'm
we
obsessed.
just become best friends? Do you want to go salmon fishing?
Salmon, as long as I don't have to cross any of those murky ridges in the Zor Valley and drown. I have a fear of water.
It's right in, you're a fisherman with a fear of water.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is right down in Rochester.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Now that water looks a little turbulent, looks a little nervous.
This is right underneath Lower Falls. So there's Lower Falls,
yes,
and you're
yes.
standing. So Lower Falls is about this far away from
Right.
you, as far as this table.
Yeah, that might bother me. I was in a kayak accident, almost drowned a couple of years ago. And ever since then, I'm terrified of being on moving water.
Did you get sucked under a tree?
Under a log jam. Bad. Barely made it out.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Those are the dangers, children.
Yes,
Don't kayak alone.
Don't do that. But I love to fish. I'm just I'd rather
this
be
is
in my boat.
This is Lower Falls.
Beautiful.
And then
This
this
Letchworth,
is,
right?
No, this is Rochester.
Wait, where the I didn't
There's
know
High Falls and there's Low Falls. These are as I mean they're not as big. Don't quote me on this, but I feel like these are as big as America's Falls that we have, not the Horseshoe, but our America side falls. And it's just dumping right down.
The surrounding
and I'm
looks better than the
standing-
American Niagara Falls too. It's not no chain link fences and beat up industrial complexes. It's nice.
So I'm like right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I would fish that with you. I'd fish that with you.
Let's do it.
That's good. Just don't take me on the Niagara River.
I'm going this weekend. Cancel all your plans.
Yeah, right. Call me in November, maybe.
Well, that's steelhead season.
Yeah, steelhead. Let's do that.
All right.
All right, we'll do that.
Hold on, I gotta talk about fishing more.
Yeah.
When did your love for bass fishing start?
my
And why
goodness.
bass and not trout? Because this is a trout area.
Oh, I love trout. So I love trout fishing and bass fishing and pike fishing. I'm not.
You're unbiased.
I don't discriminate. I love all fish.
Yeah.
The only thing is I'm just not a walleye snob because I'm not good at walleye fishing. But Genesee River is one of the greatest fisheries in the state. I love the Genesee River.
I tell people that all the time. They
I
don't
used to
believe-
just trout fish it, and then when I started catching big smallmouth on the river, I kind of got hooked on that. So
There's big smallmouth in the river.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Really, it's a smallmouth river
It
that
is.
has
That
trout
has trout.
that's stocked. You know,
Yeah, and I've caught some big 25-inch rainbows out of this river, and some big 3-4 pound smallmouth. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful river.
yeah, and it's and you know. Also, just up in Rochester, that's the Genesee. It flows
is.
north.
It is. It's wonderful.
It flows
Yeah.
north, starts in PA. Look at this smallmouth. This was in Keuka.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
We were
Keuka.
smashing
I've never
the
fished Keuka.
Keuka's great.
That's the
smallmouth
really
fishing.
deep one, right?
No, Seneca's a really deep one.
How Keuka's the fork is split.
Keuka's the fork.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
But going back
All right.
to sand sculpting.
Yes.
After your first season, I do have a question.
Sure.
After your first season of Halloween Wars, do you think, is that when you thought like, I've made it? Like the doors are going to open, I'm going to have all this work coming in? Or did you just go into it like, oh, that was fun?
Yeah, I just went into it like, oh, that's fun. To me, it wasn't. I didn't think it would open doors, and it did. But I guess when it really got big is when I won Outrageous Pumpkins.
Yeah.
Because that puts you in, that top tier of carvers, and people don't realize that professional pumpkin carving is a thing. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't know it was a thing. Even when I did the first Halloween Wars, I didn't realize it was this world.
Right.
And then I started meeting the best in the world, and now I'm one of the best. And I take classes from the best carvers in the world, and you'll see them judging shows and things. And we're all this network of, there might be 30, 40 of us that are at that level, and we all know each other. We make tools for each other. We share events together. We collaborate, and we'll do big like zoos and things like that. And
really,
oh yeah, it's fantastic. So it's a big thing. I mean, all of the professional pumpkin carvers right now are slam packed until Halloween. It's crazy.
And then after Halloween, transfers into snow.
Now, I usually do a few things in November, especially if I get, if the world record gets broken again this year. I usually, those 2,000-pound pumpkins and bigger, they make it to state fairs and things like that. And then I can acquire them, a lot of them, and I carve them and raise money for different charities and things. So I'm usually busy through early to mid-November with pumpkins, even after Halloween. And then we transition into snow.
What charity has your biggest soft spot?
Probably the Pink Pumpkin Project.
What's that?
Breast cancer awareness. It started in just little Olean, New York, and a wonderful group of ladies that I've gotten involved with and worked with. They're wonderful people. I'm actually teaching 4 classes in October, the 10th, 14th, 15th, and 17th. You can sign up at thepinkpumpkinproject.org. Take the class. It's going to be decked out. I've got some amazing people working on this. A good friend of mine, Brittany Bachman, is doing all the decorating, the food, and you can come take a carving class from me, and I'm doing it 100% free. It goes entirely to the Pink Pumpkin Project charity. All the proceeds.
And then what was that website again?
thepinkpumpkinproject.org. I think it's .org.
Pinkpumpkinproject.
I'll look it up. I just posted about it last night.
I'm going to just pull up your social media here.
Yeah, .org. thepinkpumpkinproject.org. You can go or go to my Facebook, EricJones Studios, and you can see I post about it quite often. So,
so am I on your personal one? Do you have a work one and a personal one?
The work one I don't keep up with. My personal one is the one that has all my followers. And now you got to subscribe to something, Nick. What are you doing here?
I don't know. Pink Pumpkin Project, Olean, New York.
Yeah.
There it is.
So you click on that, you scroll down, you'll see on the homepage, you scroll down, you'll see my Halloween thing there. Keep going.
Oh, it's sold out.
No, not that. That's something right there. Right there is the ornamental Olean right there. That's it.
Reserve pumpkin party class. There we go.
You can reserve. So we've got 4 different classes you can choose from. I'm not making anything on these. We're giving away door prizes. I've got signed Buffalo Bill stuff. I've got pumpkin carving kits that I put together that I can give you. Lots of door prizes, great food, giveaways, costume contests. Keep the pumpkins I carve. It's going to be a blast. And 100% of the proceeds go to the breast cancer charity Pink Pumpkin Project.
Why is it important to you?
I've lost some wonderful people to breast cancer, and I've just met some people in that world that are just wonderful people that give everything they are and everything they have to it. So I've got a soft spot for that. I've also got a soft spot for kids battling terminal illness or serious injury. I started my own 501c3 called Sculpting for Smiles, and people can donate to that. That's sculptingforsmiles.com, or you can go right to my website, EricJonesStudios.com, and there's a link. So I make sculptures for kids that are sick. I'm currently working on 2. I've just been so busy I haven't been able to finish them, but I'm doing a sculpture for a young man in Fillmore, and then I'm doing another one for another young man in Buffalo.
All right, I'm on your studio website here. Look at that dragon.
That's snow.
That is awesome.
That was up in Rochester, all snow. That right there's a 2,000-pound pumpkin with Allen and Diggs on it.
I like how you did the butt is the nose.
Yeah, that's a buffalo in the center.
let's keep going down here. Oh, that's it. So where do we
If you scroll up right there, Sculpting for Smiles, that's a boy named Desmond. He's a great kid battling cancer. I went to his house and sculpted a big dog in his front yard out of snow. And you can donate there. You also, you don't just have to donate. If you have someone that is battling cancer or a serious injury, I did something for Gabby and Sophia the Fierce, Colt 45. You can see all these here.
Yeah.
And what I put on the bottom is you can see the kids' reactions to what I've done. So that little girl on the left was watching me sculpt that big Sully and Mike outside the window at Children's Hospital. Of course, Gabby. That was her dog I made for her looking up into her window. That was her puppy when she was injured. Colt 45, I did that. Look at the smile on his face.
I know.
And then Sophia the Fierce, wonderful little girl who passed. But
I'd be sobbing the whole time.
It was brutal. And I did that Baby Yoda. And when I went and talked to Sophia and I wanted to do this sculpture for her, I said, Sophia, she was in rough shape, battling leukemia. And I said, Sophia, where do you want the sculpture to be facing? Do you want it facing the house so you can see it? And she said, no, face it toward the road so everybody else can enjoy it. How does a 10, 11-year-old kid with cancer have that type of integrity? And so I got a good picture of her with that before she passed. But it's a difficult thing because you get to know these kids, you get attached to them. But what a wonderful opportunity to use my talents to make them smile. And that's why I call it Sculpting for Smiles.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would help more kids. Obviously, I need time and I need funding because some of these projects are pricey and it takes a couple of days to make one because you've got to mold and let it sit and it's a process. So obviously it needs some funding and I need more time as well. So
I wonder if like the Ronald McDonald House would do.
Yeah, I've talked to them. It's tough to get other charities. I know there's a couple in Buffalo that are very good to me. Shine Gold and Hope Rises. Kate Glacier works with those, and she assists me in a lot of what I do. So right now, it's a brand new 501c3 Sculpting for Smiles, but I'd like to have it get some legs and get bigger. It's just a matter of finding the time and the funding for it. I haven't been able to invest the time in it that I want.
You need a media guy.
I do. I need a lot of guys. I need to clone myself about 6 times. God forbid.
That's what I say all the time. Like I need to just clone myself.
It's just hard to find people that can do what I do and have the hunger and the knowledge to do it. So I always spread myself too thin, but that's the nature of my business.
Do you do any like internships for kids that
I have done several. The thing is, it's so unique that I can have people travel with me, but it's difficult. It's difficult to get them involved in what I do because it takes so much time to train them, and I just don't have the time to train people. It's such a unique skill set. It isn't like you can pull some kid out of college who's studying snow, sand, and pumpkin sculpting. Yeah. Or it takes so much training and so much time that it's kind of a one-man show.
Yeah. I mean, it's similar to my editor, Stefan, is fantastic now, but it took him a while to learn my style, right? Because I was paying him to do my style, and he has his own style now that I like. Right. So he kind of created from mine into his own. Yes. Which is great. But it took him a while to learn that, there was a lot of back and forth, like, why are you doing this? Put this here.
That's exactly right. And I have a very similar situation with my caricature website. So I have other artists that do digital coloring for me and they assist. One of them is my daughter, works for me. But I'm constantly telling them, I'm not interested in your style of art. Right. Sometimes when you hire an artist, they want to use their technique. And I'm like, no, I need you to emulate me. Yeah. And I don't say that to sound pretentious. I say that because that's what I've sold the public is my style, my design. So if you're going to come on board with me, you have to emulate what I do and not put your own thing out there. Otherwise, go do your own thing. Yep. So I've sold myself to a point where, all right, now I need to find artists that can emulate what I do. Right. And that's a difficult process too. It's a very unique world that I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same. I mean, any creator, if they have someone, especially any funded project, you're doing what your client wants. Right. As well. You can take your artistry and lend it to them. Yes. But you're still doing what they want.
And that's a hard sell with certain personalities. Whenever you're in the retail world as an artist, it's a difficult sell trying to convince people that as an artist, what's going to look the best. Right. One of the things I run into is when I'm doing a sculpture for a company that wants to use it as a marketing gimmick. they always ask me, I want you to come and do a giant snow sculpture of my logo in the front yard. And I'm like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Who in the world is going to stop and look at a West Her logo in your front yard? Nobody
He
cares.
loves you, West Her. He loves you.
That's just an example. What you want is a 9-foot Josh Allen.
Right.
Because then every kid in Western New York is going to come get a picture with it. You want traffic. If you're building a monument to yourself for a company picnic, then fine, we'll do your logo. But if you want something in your front yard that's going to draw the public in, let me do a Monsters Incorporated, Sully and Mike. Let me do Finding Nemo, Josh Allen. That's the stuff that draws people. Like in Belmont, the Rotary Club funded that big Josh Allen, and we were talking about what to do. And I was like, well, if you really want this to go viral, it's right at the beginning of the Bills season. Let's do Buffalo Bills. And that's what we did. And it's got 200,000 shares. It blew up.
Is that the one where people keep defacing it?
No, that's the one in Belmont. The one that's being defaced is the one in Olean.
Oh, okay.
And I've resculpted it 3 times. Now they caught the kids.
Did they catch them?
It's a bunch of minors. They've been arrested several times. My plan was to try to use them to clean up the site or repair it and make it kind of a community thing and turn it into an opportunity. No, these kids are beyond that. They're punks. So they're just being arrested.
They're just being buttholes.
They're just being arrested. So we're not going to turn that into an opportunity. That's just trying to get them off the street so we can enjoy it. But yeah, that's been defaced 3 times.
Why can't people just leave things alone? And it's so wild. It's truly wild to me that the Andover one is still just like in pristine condition.
Incredible. Nobody's touched it.
No one's touched it.
And that's amazing because that never happens.
Right.
Usually when things are up for a couple of weeks, people will start to write their name in it, or the ones in Buffalo always eventually get defaced. But I've been really fortunate. Most people leave them alone, except in Olean. They got some issues down there.
Olean. You're the Squirrel City.
Come on, Squirrel City. Squirrels are friendly and cute and. Well, actually, they're just rats with big tails. But.
So we have like a few minutes left here, about 15, and I want you to dive into what is it? Halloween All-Stars? Halloween Wars All-Stars?
Halloween Wars All-Stars, yes.
Okay, I've heard I've heard some things about it. And it just started airing.
Yes, the premiere was Sunday night.
It's going to be on every Sunday until the run's done.
Until it's over. Yeah, the season finale is right before Halloween.
Okay.
I can't reveal how long I'm on the show. It's against the rules. They would give information I'm not privy to hand out. But I'm on the show a while. It's fun. I have a great time. I make some amazing things. You got to watch it. Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Food Network. You can also stream it on Discovery Plus, Hulu, Max. There's a couple different Food Network Plus, and watch the show. So it actually comes out.
You can go on Max?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can see it on Max now.
Oh, I got Max.
If you go Sunday morning, I believe it's released Discovery Plus on Sunday morning.
And that's Disney.
Yeah, and I don't like because sometimes people watch it early, then they're texting me and they're trying to blow up my Facebook, and then I gotta remove all these tags because I don't want to reveal anything.
Oh, until
it airs.
Yeah,
because that actually airs live on Sunday nights, but you can get it.
How many people are watching it live? Do you think, as opposed to just your opinion, as opposed to?
I know at one point I heard that the Food Network Halloween Wars was the most watched seasonal program on Food Network, and it was somewhere in the 10 million range. Wow. But I don't think I don't know what the live. Most people are streaming now, so I have no idea what that would break.
We haven't had cable in 10 plus years.
Most people stream now. I would say half the public streams and only half watches live cable.
I actually went through. I got mad. Like a couple months ago, and I went through and I canceled Disney Plus. I canceled Hulu because Hulu went up to $20.
Well, look at Netflix.
And I'm not going to pay for it. Oh, we were stealing my mother-in-law's Netflix.
Yeah, everybody does that. That's because every time you open your Netflix browser, it's like opening a refrigerator full of food you don't want to eat.
Yeah.
Netflix is expensive for a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
There's not much on there really. And so selective streaming,
So now we have Max, which I'm sharing from my buddy Ryan.
You can watch it on Max. There you go.
Prime, just because everyone has Prime, I feel like, and then Crunchyroll, because I'm a big anime fan. So that's all.
Crunchyroll?
Yeah.
Never even heard of that. I think that's the name of a donut at the new cider mill.
Can we talk about how you got a donut? He was bragging about his $3 cider mill donut, and he didn't bring any.
Well, let's be honest. I stopped at the cider mill in Portville, and I planned to bring a dozen donuts.
Yeah.
But I only had 3 $1 bills in my wallet.
Jeez.
A starving artist. Look at me. I'm starving. And it's a no credit card place.
Yeah.
So I walked in and I said, "What can I buy for $3?" And they pointed me to the the poor man's donuts, and I bought a poor man. I can only afford one.
Oh, was it good?
So it was amazing, and I ate it on the way here and hid the wrapper before I saw you. So I'm sorry about it. Next time I'll bring a dozen for you.
What episode do they screen the show for the contestants before it
You
comes
have
out?
no idea. You sign an NDA, you have no rights, no obligations, you're not privy to anything.
And this is your team up here,
This
right?
is my team right now, Team Delectable Demons.
Right, you said right now.
In the show right now that I'm on television. No, it stays.
Okay.
but I've done 3 shows. So the current season, that's Shannon and Shannon on the left, the shorter girl, and Bree, the taller girl. Those are my teammates. Shannon is a brilliant cake artist from the Northwest out in Wyoming.
And which one's?
And Bree on the taller girl is a sugar artist from Orlando. Very talented young ladies. And then me, the big burly pumpkin carver in the middle there.
How often did you guys want to kill each other?
Every 5 minutes or so. Yeah. On set, a lot of anxiety when you're filming. So you have prep days between film days where you meet with your team producers and things. You're collaborating, okay, for the next film day. But when you're on film and you're in the moment, tons of anxiety, and it's pressure because it's a real timed event, and you're getting pushed by your producers, and there's all and there's people writing scripts about what are you going to do, say this and ask this and do this, and you're communicating with your team constantly. You can't just sit there quietly work. You're always collaborating. That's all part of it. So tensions rise, and you disagree on things because think about it. Every artist on this show is one of the best in their field of the country. So there's no betas at all. Everybody on the show is an alpha.
They've all won something, right?
Yes. Well, most of them have won something or done television before, and they're one of the best. And there's only 18 contestants, 18. I believe 18 contestants on the show. So you are one of 18 of the most brilliant artists in your field in the country. So people aren't going to roll over and do whatever you say. So, and that makes great television because now you've got alpha, and alpha all fighting for.
Right.
And everybody has to establish their roles.
It's
and
3 different personality types as well.
Exactly. And normally I work very well with women. I just tend to, because it's kind of a female driven, the entertainment industry typically. But I got along with them pretty well. But we had a lot of tension. If you watch that first episode, we had some blow ups.
Did you?
Oh yeah. Bree and I did.
Which one were you more afraid of?
I was more afraid of Shannon, but I fought more with Bree.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was great. I had a wonderful time. They're great people, very talented. We had a lot of fun.
Still in contact?
Yeah, a little bit.
Nice.
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, you get busy and you go your separate ways, but yeah, we're still in contact. A lot of the people on the show you stay in touch with. We have a group chat.
Now, is there like a rap party or anything that happens after the show, or is after filming? Is it after the show airs, or is it after filming?
So I gotta say, one of the highlights of my career when I won Outrageous Pumpkins. They set off fireworks and there's a big show for your win, and you get this championship belt and you take shots with the host and all this. They walked me into the producer's tent, which none of the contestants get to go into the producer's filming area.
Sure.
And every artist on the show has their own station of audio and video and a producer, and they're watching and listening and they're creating narrative. I got to walk in there and meet them, and they gave me a standing ovation. Wow. The whole production team. That was so moving for me.
Did someone get a shot of that?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they did. I don't know if I ever saw it, but that was such an amazing moment because I have such a respect for what goes on behind the scenes, like with what you do. It's this whole world. Yeah. It's really complex, and there's a lot of work. People think, we just show up on this set and we carve pumpkins with a couple of iPhones. I mean, it is a huge production. It takes a year to produce, to organize this, and then another year in post-production to create a show and narrative and edit. It's a lot of work. And seeing that and getting praise from those people and that recognition was amazing to me.
When did you actually film?
This was filmed last fall.
Last fall.
It usually takes a year.
Yep.
And one of the reasons is you have to have ripe pumpkins, so you film in the fall, and then it takes a long time to edit and produce. So a year you wait.
people ask me all the time, like, when is this coming out? After I hand a project to the client, right. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So whenever they want to put it out.
Exactly. No, it takes a long time. But you have very little influence on what's being aired. So you don't know how you're going to be depicted. You sign your life away to them, the Food Network, and they can kind of create the narrative they want. But they've been very good to me so far. It's only been one episode, but they've painted me in a very positive light.
And I mean, I imagine when they say that you're from New York, that a lot of people still think that you're from Manhattan. Right?
Everybody thinks I'm this. Yes, I do not look like an artist. I look like a bulldozer mechanic from Allegheny County.
What's your tattoo say?
Los Deo, which is glory to God. And then this, of course, if you watch the show, Road to Halloween Wars, this is a pumpkin tattoo that morphs into my championship belt. So we have this little unspoken rule, the show Outrageous Pumpkins, which is like, that and Halloween Wars are the two pumpkin carving television shows. When you win those as a pumpkin carver, you have to get a pumpkin tattoo. So the previous 2 season winners have one as well. So that's just kind of one of the rules. There aren't very many people with a pumpkin tattoo, but I've got one.
What do you think the draw is to shows like this? I mean, there's Cake Wars, there's Halloween War. What is the draw?
It's a combination, I think, of, first of all, the art. Anytime you can take food or vegetables and turn that into exquisite art is incredible. And we live in this age of, ASMR, and people love satisfying videos, all this stuff. And that fits right into that. People love to watch talented people take ordinary things and make something amazing of it. Sugar and flour and pumpkins and make art. The second part of it is that oiling, that pressure cooker.
The drama.
The pressure cooker. You're in a timed element with other people that are talented. So you're making amazing art, and there's a lot of tension, and everybody loves that. Mm-hmm. So it's a combination of those two things which draw people to these shows.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And my wife and daughter are really obsessed. I don't even remember his name, but the chocolate guy. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, this dude just like I was on TikTok just making these chocolate masterpieces.
Yeah. He has his own Food Network show now too. Now my first season I worked with Joel Gonzalez, who is a chocolate artist, brilliant. He's on Halloween Baking Championship right now.
Okay.
He was my teammate in the first season. Brilliant. Oh, that's another world. I can't get into it because I don't have time. I would love to learn how to work with chocolate.
Yeah.
The problem is I would eat it the whole time I'm working with it. That's my problem.
Last year you did Gingerbread Town.
Yeah, I did gingerbread. First time I ever worked with that. Good thing I had people around me with talent because I didn't know much about it. It was more promoting it, with my name. But
how much gingerbread was consumed? I
ate quite a bit. But to me, it was more the frosting. That butter.
Oh, right.
The buttercream. I just couldn't get enough of that. I mean, I ate a lot of it. I think I gained 30 pounds doing that. So that was fun.
Well, you're doing a lot. Your schedule is packed. I just saw you at the Garlic Festival when I was filming there. What are some things that you got coming up that you're really excited about?
So I'm doing a big show, a lot of big shows. I'll be at the Ellicottville Fall Fest front and center doing a big show there. I'm going to be doing a lot of carving demos at Pumpkinville. I'll be at the Great Pumpkin Farm in Buffalo quite a bit. Lots of local festivals. The thing I'm most excited about are the classes, though.
Yeah.
To come out and take a pumpkin carving class, we don't get into the guts. We don't use sharp knives. We use sculpting tools, and we do a 3D sculpt on the surface. So it's not messy. You don't have to be talented. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And you get to learn from me, and we do step by step together, and I teach you, and we have a great time. And you get to take a cool pumpkin home, and I'll sign it and get a picture with you, and it's door prizes. I mean, we just have a great time. And they always go to a charity for a good cause. So I just encourage people to sign up for one of them. And if you're curious about which ones, if you go to my socials, you'll see all that. EricJones Studios, Instagram or Facebook. You'll see all my posts there for that.
Yeah. And then last question here is it probably won't be the last question, but what is your Taj Mahal? What's your dream project?
Wow.
Your Mount Everest.
I would like to do an enormous snow sculpture for the Buffalo Bills. And when I say enormous, I'm saying the size of a nice size home.
Wow.
I would need some big equipment. I would need some volunteers. I would need someone to fund it.
Yeah.
But especially if Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl this year, I think this year's a good shot. I would like to do something grand that's never been done. My build sculptures always go viral.
Mm-hmm. Does Josh Allen ever share the stuff, or does he ever come out and pose with it?
I've actually never spoken to him.
Okay.
He shares my stuff and retweets the stuff, and all the Bills players do. And I've met a lot of them. But you know, Josh's a busy dude.
Yeah.
So, but if someone, honestly, Josh, if you're listening, which you aren't, but if
What
you
if
are,
he is?
if someone was making 9-foot sculptures of me, I'd want to meet them. So I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, I know your hair's better than mine. Your abs are a little better than mine. Your income's a little better. Other than that, we're pretty much the same dude.
Pretty much the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's a little younger.
A little younger, a little more handsome. But yeah, well, you know.
So a giant sculpture, and
Yeah.
do you already have the idea of what you would do?
I would like to do a herd of life-size charging buffaloes.
Yeah.
And then something monumental, maybe something Vince Lombardi trophy similar. I've got some ideas. I'm still playing with some designs, but I would need, probably 200 cubic feet of snow to make what I really want to make. It would be insane.
Well, Buffalo is the place to do it.
It is, and we had that big storm last year. We just didn't have the equipment to do it. So, we gotta talk about that.
Yeah. Do you need packy snow?
Any snow.
Any snow.
Any snow works. You can work. I've worked with like the slushy, nasty snow when it's at freezing temperature, and I've worked with manufactured snow. I've worked with freezing cold, powdery snow. It all works. The trick is you don't roll it like you do a snowman.
Yeah.
Okay. What you do with snow is you build forms like you do with sand, basically boxes, and fill it with snow, and then pack it and tamp it. Mm-hmm. Then you let it settle a day or two, and then you remove the forms, and you just have a huge brick. Any snow will work. And you just, if it's really cold, sometimes you have to use power tools, but I prefer carving with my hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on, Eric. And
Glad to be here.
Truly, you're an inspiration to anyone local, any artist, or anyone in general, that you don't have to live in New York, LA, Atlanta to go on the Food Network, to become someone, and to get your artwork out there. So really appreciate it, man.
Oh, I appreciate it. And that's a great message, because the internet has made the world very small.
Yeah.
And through our social media and things, you can stay right in your hometown and support it. Everybody's always in a hurry to get out of here. Mm-hmm. I love this area, and I want to support it as long as I can. So yeah, keep at it and follow my stuff. Please support what I support by taking the classes and joining.
Your charities. So go ahead and name your charity.
Yeah, my charity is sculptingforsmiles.com. You can go to that website, or go right to EricJonesStudios.com. You can donate to that, or if you have somebody that has a need, a child that has an illness or an injury, and you want to do something for them, you can contact me, and I could do that directly. But come out and take part in what I take part in.
Yeah. All right, man. We did it.
We did it.